All right, we are live. I've tried to do this before in this class, and then the whole internet for campus went out. Live stream didn't work. It was really weird. All right, so in Unity Hub, go to projects. It's be the same thing we did before. Gonna make a new project. Wait for a whole bunch of stuff to load. We're using Unity 6000.0. Whatever, something. And I'm going to stick with this universal 2D here. You probably don't have an organization, so ignore that part. My name on, oh, okay, never mind, that's not. All right, so we're going to do, I'll put my initials on that so I know not to grade it. And create a project. Huh?
Can we rename projects?
Yes. It's not super easy. What you're going to be turning in is the scene and everything related to that. So the project name kind of doesn't matter. Except for you in 3 years when you're like, I've got 1,700 Unity projects and I don't know what's what. And if it's my project 1 through 700, you're in trouble. What they're going to be? Okay. So like Unity project / earned me a C or what? Okay.
So like if you're creating, let's say, like an avatar for a game, you name it like the name of the avatar or a description of the avatar. But basics.
Yeah. So you want a good naming convention that like maybe most people can understand, but especially you can understand. I've never been so mad at myself as when I go back to look at a project that I did like 2 years ago. I'm like, what was happening in here? I didn't name anything right. It's a disaster. Anyway, any other questions, Wade, while we wait for this to load? Okay, just checking. This is the part I should have had like loading while I was doing attendance. I wonder if we could have gotten through all 43 people twice. Esports Chapel? Okay. So do you like only get credit if you beat like 4 other people, or how's that? You just get like points based on rank order. You take out the whole club, you're basically done for the semester. So I did that the last couple of years because our class landed on Halloween. We're going to be meeting on the 30th. If you want to walk around in costume the day before Halloween, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, other teachers stopped me.
Huh?
Well, the other teachers stopped me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
I might be carrying the side.
Ah, yeah. That's what I told. All right, we're in. It's loaded. So we did this thing. And we did this thing. And we waited. All right, so right away, with your attention, Graham. Zip it, Graham. Okay. Thank you. Right away, I don't want sample scene to be the name of my scene because that's just lame. And also there's like a billion of them. So I'm going to come right away, file, save as. And it's going to, I want to drop it right out here in the assets folder, which makes me upset. So I'm going to put it back in the scenes folder. And we're going to call it top down level. And then here is really what I know. Can you read that from there? I'm not a fan of this projector either. Here's where your initials might be a good idea. So I'm going to put my initials at the end of that, top down level. And again, it's 2D. We've got a camera. Is there a Matthew? I'm just picking on you. Do you know a way we can just enlarge like all the text and stuff in the editor? It's not like Visual Studio, is it? That would have been cool. Man. Okay, there's my complaint against Unity. All right, yes.
Say that you save it sample sync when you're when you want to save the sample sync. Where do you save it?
So I just put it in the folder next to sample scene. So you should have an assets folder and all of this stuff in it that we're not going to play with because we don't care. And then there's a scenes folder that already has sample scene in it, and I just resaved it as a new name in the same folder. Yeah. Yeah. Assets, scenes, it's fine. All right. We're going to drag some things into this, and then we'll write, copy, paste some scripts. The idea being we're going to keep this as simple as possible. We're going to try to streamline this. So I'm going to go ahead and game object, 2D object. Let me do it from here, actually. I'm going to right click here. 2D object, sprites. Guess what? We're going to do a square. This is going to look a lot like when we did Plinko. And I'm basically going to start dragging these squares around to fill up my screen. So I drag it down. I'm going to use my scaling tool here. Make them all wide. And I'm just going to do it again. So I'm going to go right click in here, 2D, sprites, square. Drag this up around the middle-ish and then scale it again with the red on the x-axis. So now I can't get off the top of the screen and I can't escape down the bottom of the screen. Right click, 2D object, sprites, square again. I know this is going to be the most boring level ever. We can fix it. And I'll just stretch them this way and then I'll move them into place. So far, we're not going to do anything with our camera, so we don't want our player to leave the area because then you got no game. There's nothing to do. All right, and I'll do this the other way, so I can also do this square too that's up and down here. If I right-click on this guy and duplicate it, I've got another one just like it, and I can drag him over here. So you can make them from scratch every time, copy, paste, duplicate, whatever. Now I've got something of a level. And these guys have nothing on them, so I'm going to grab all four at once. So square 1, square 2, square 3. And with all of those selected, I'm going to come down here in my inspector to add component, and we're going to do a box collider. Shift. Yes. It's at this point so instinctual, I had to stop and think about it. Like, I don't know how I multi-selected. It just happened. And of course, we can color those, right? You are correct, sir. I messed that one up. Yep. Take that box collider off of there. Oh, my goodness. So part of the problem is I teach this, well, a class like this in 3D in the mornings and then 2D in the afternoons. 4D in the evenings. I don't even know. All right, so box collider 2D. Thank you, Maddox. Give him an extra point that means absolutely nothing. Never mind, he got applause. He doesn't get a point now. All right, so we've got walls. So I come over here and I click on the game. I can see that, like, ooh, we framed a picture or something. We've just got walls around here. We can't go anywhere. While we're here in the game window, let's look at this. So right now it's at free aspect, which just means the computer's going to do what the heck it wants. We can go to like something that actually makes sense to us, like full HD. Oh, you're so much better than me. But at full HD, I've lost my sides. So I'm going to come back here, and I'll just grab those guys and drag them back in so we get our little frame effect again. And I'm holding down Shift and the middle mouse button to pan around. It's again something that I just caught myself doing. Like, oh yeah, that's a thing. I should tell them. You're welcome. I won't even charge extra for that. All right, now we need a player. We can make some other walls and obstacles and stuff. We just need something to move around and be a player. We'll start with just a shape, and then, yeah, for this one, we'll just do a shape. So for top down, we'll just use a shape. So we're going to come in here, the same thing. Right-click in my hierarchy window, 2D objects, sprites, I don't know, circle, capsule, isometric diamond. What are we feeling? Point at top. Okay, there he is. And we're going to make him green because obviously it's Link. And then, don't shut me down, YouTube. That wasn't I meant hyperlink. I wasn't trying to rip off Nintendo. Okay. And then this guy, I'm going to go ahead and add a collider for him. And so I think we want a polygon collider. And that should wrap around him pretty nicely. I made him green, so I can't see the green outline of his collider. Let's pretend we know it's there. Okay. And then I'm also going to add a rigid body 2D. If you're ever confused, just ask Maddox about it, and he'll tell you the things you add need to say 2D on the end of it, or they're not going to work. And for this, and this is like top down, we understand top down. Like I'm looking down, I can see the player, and he can move up or down or left or right. There's no gravity, right? I'm looking at it like he's a thing on a map moving. So I'm going to take the gravity scale for this rigid body 2D and set that to 0 because he's on the ground, not this is the ground. Yeah? Okay. All right. So he's all set up, and we can play the game, and it's awesome. Yeah. So good. Oh, that's like 5 stars on Steam. I'm ready to. Yeah. If this gets any bigger, I'll quit my job and just go into game dev full time. He's not moving around because we didn't do anything with him. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just for funsies, I'm going to give him a name. Hexagon. You know what we're just going to do? Mr. He's Mr. Hexagon Point Top. Now he's a character. And I need to create a script. So what I'm going to do, and this is my recommendation to you as human beings who play in this software, make folders, organize your stuff. Don't be that person. You can throw everything out here in the assets folder, and it's like all of your toys are just scattered all over your room, and you don't know, like, where's my shirt versus where's, Pokeball or whatever kind of nonsense you got. So I'm going to make a folder. Create a folder. And I'm going to put an underscore first because that's just something that I do, and I'm going to call it scripts. And so when these things line up in alphabetical order, my stuff with the underscore goes in front of the other stuff. I know where my stuff's at. Yeah, kind of crazy, but we do it. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay organized because I get lost really easily. All right, in my underscore scripts folder, I'm going to right click, create mono behavior script. This is where we start doing the stuff. And then right away, it's highlighted and wants us to give it a name. And I'm just going to say top down player or something like that. Or we could call it Mr. Hexagon Point Top. Player controller. Please make me move. Whatever you want to name it. But again, the name should make sense to you and maybe to everyone else you're working with. Yeah. You're like a half a step ahead of us. Good job. So I'm going to double click it because I'm trying to be cool like my boy Micah, and it's going to open code. Yeah, look at all that. That's crazy. Tutors, now is your time. All right. It is possible maybe that you didn't get Visual Studio installed when you installed Unity. It should have tried to. Like the first time you installed Unity from Hub, where'd Hub go? And you're like, install this thing. And then it had all of this modules jazz. This should have been automatically selected to say, yeah, we need to download and install Microsoft Visual Studio Community 2022. If you have a Visual Studio, you should be fine.
Even though I have Visual Studio. I have Visual Studio. But for some reason,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, with your spells. All right, so if you've got Visual Studio already and it's set up for C++ or the .NET version of C#, there may be some extra things to install. No. But the CS majors in here are in a class where they're learning C++.
yeah,
The
we're
DT majors are learning some C#, but it's like .NET nonsense.
Wait,
And then IS majors, what are you working on?
is that like Java? Is that
Python?
that's C#?
You also use Visual Studio?
Is that C#?
yes.
Huh?
It's like Java.
Okay. No. Yeah. C# is Java. It's basically Java.
Is this a different C#?
It's a different one.
It's a slightly different module because there's some Unity stuff, Unity libraries and stuff too, that we need as well. Yeah. All right. So for the sake of this is a video that you're going to be watching later in your dorm while you catch up, I'm going to move on and hopefully we get caught up at some point, by Monday, something. That's when this will be due. All right. So my top-down player here, I've got it printed out in front of me. I've got the script right here as well. It's called top-down player controller. There's really not a lot to it. I'm just going to copy this. It's on the assignment page. I'm not trying to break anybody's brain. I'm actually like almost doing your homework for you. I'm just going to paste this in here. And so what we've got, here's our class name, whatever you named it. I've created a variable that's public here that's a float called move speed. And a float is just a number with decimal stuff behind it. I don't know the exact, I don't know. It goes to a lot. So if I wanted to move it like 10.5, I could. So I've got a public, it's a float. Being public means other scripts can access it and we can see it in the inspector. So I set this thing once. I'm setting it to a default of 10 because I'm just guessing. 10 sounds good, right? But then later on, without changing the script, if I decide it's too fast or too slow, I can change this to the inspector and we're good. So I'm just saving a number for how fast do I want to go, all right? Now an update, which gets called every frame, and the problem with getting called every frame is I don't know how bad your computer is. Like Sean over here, bro's lucky to get 20 frames a minute. He's still loading, right? So if Sean's tablet computer wannabe is running this, then he's getting like 10 frames a second or something. And meanwhile, we're just gonna pretend Maddox has got, is that an Alienware? We're gonna pretend that's the cool one, right? So we get this other computer back here. Bro's like humming at 120 frames per second and not even sweating. So that's how often this thing gets called. Sean's will get called 10 times in a second, 120 times. So we don't know. Okay? Yes. So on our next script, we're going to get into some of that. But just know that things that we do in an update, we want to get inputs, right? People are moving a mouse, got a controller, keyboard. In update, we want to get the input because it's as fast as that computer can handle it. And so that's what I'm doing here. Whatever frame rate we've got, I'm getting the horizontal input. So this is using a built-in input manager that already has these things mapped out for us. So if I say get horizontal input, that's getting me, horizontal's this way, right? Yeah. That's getting me A and D for my WASD. That's getting me the left and right arrows. That's getting me moving left and right if I've got a joystick plugged in. Whatever it's got mapped for horizontal, we're just getting automatically. It's great. So I'm getting the horizontal input and I'm saving that as a float. Again, another just like, I don't know, it's 2.97. Who cares? Whatever. It's a number that's not an integer. And then I'm also getting the input for the vertical input, saving that as a float. And then finally, this line is all the magic we need. So transform the position of whatever the script is on. We're translating it, moving it along a new vector. I guess we could have done a vector 2. They exist, but I did a vector 3 because we're in whatever. So I'm moving it on the horizontal input for X, vertical input for Y. We're not going anywhere on the Z because this is 2D. So we're moving along that vector times the move speed that we may have to change later, and then times time dot delta time. That is our frame rate smoothing solution inside of update. So that Sean and, remind me your name, Alienware. Yes. So these two can play and like kind of sort of like get the same stuff, even though their frame rates are way off. So this time dot delta time is going to be like, wow, it's been like 3 minutes since the last frame update. Let me do some math, and it tries to figure it out and like even things out. Does that make sense? Sean, you had an actual question, or are you just waving at me?
You mentioned like how there's an automatic between, say, for the horizontal and vertical, it's like A and B.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, especially like the frame rate-wise, what's the difference between that and just mapping each individual key with, like for example, making a program where you press W is capable to increase like the Y position by 10. And then it's press S to increase it by 10.
I wouldn't think anything in the input they have already optimized, because gamers are big crybabies, and they're like, it was lag, it was my controller, and you just know how they are, right? Gamers just big whiny babies, and so we have to get that input real quick, or we're blaming everybody else but ourselves for the fact that we suck at a game.
I'm used to mapping every single control.
And that's possible. I could map like only capital W will move. Like if you don't hold Shift NW, you're not going. Like I could go really insane with mapping, but that's why I like the input manager, because it's just like, here's basically what everyone does. And we're going to get to in a little bit, the space bar is jump. Who knew? Brilliant, right? They just gave that to us for free. It's fantastic. It's possible. If you want to make your life miserable, you are allowed to do that. You can make your life miserable too. Yes? Sorry. Yes. All right, here we go. So I'm going to save this script. If you don't save it, it doesn't do anything. I'm going to go back to Unity. Okay, and then with Mr. Hexagon Point Top, patent pending. That'll be a whole new line of merch coming out soon. So I'm going to come down here to add component. This is one way to do it. There's 100 ways to do everything. First way I'm going to do is add component and then look for top. There's top down player. There's the script I wrote and it shows up. And look, there's that move speed that I said was a public variable. And right off the bat, I can be adventurous and make his move speed 50 instead of 10 because why not? And then hit play. And he's really zoomy. So because it's so fast, I basically outran the collision engine and clipped through a wall. So here's some things we can do for that. So in my rigid body 2D, which is looking for all these collisions with walls, I can change my collision detection if I want to continuous. So it's using a little more processing, but I'm not as likely to clip through a wall. And then the other thing I could do is there's these constraints and I can freeze the rotation. So did you see when I hit a wall, like my guy went like that? I can freeze the rotation so that he's always upright if I want to do that on the constraints in the rigid body. Or I can think it's really funny that he hits the wall and now he's like this. Yes. Okay, so if this is grayed out, go back to Visual Studio and make sure you don't have red squigglies, errors somewhere. All right, tutors, you're on deck. Help with chase the squigglies away. All right. Huh? Well, all right. Let me set this back to. I'll just do 20. We'll do a reasonable speed. Just gonna see if I can get mine to do what you're describing. Huh? If a hand goes up, help them. Where it doesn't? Yeah, so on the rigid body, there's a thing called constraints. If you open that up, click the rotate on Z, so it won't. So we're saying do not rotate. Yeah. All right, so now I guess I didn't click it. Yeah, so now that I've rotated, I literally don't know which way's up, left, or down because that's a local thing. Okay. And I was just bouncing. That's just it continually trying to move. Oh, wait, I can't. Right? That's basically this. That's tactical. You're welcome. So I'm trying to give you the smallest bit of code that's going to work. We can engineer just this for days. If it becomes a big deal, we can look it up. There's ways to fix it. But yeah, we're trying to keep it simple. All right. Yeah, I hated that. So I'm definitely going to want to do my rigid body, freeze the rotation. All right. We still have a whole nother level to build. So I'm going to try and breeze through this a little faster. Okay. Why is Mr. Hexagon Point Top running around in this empty room? He wants money. He wants money. So let's throw him some coins in there. Or something. Throw him a pizza. All right. So he's working-ish. I'm going to also right click in here, 2D object, sprites. We're going to do a circle. And we're going to make it kind of a goldy color. And then actually I'm going to do something maybe a little extra here. And I'm going to right click on the, right click. Let's see if we can do another 2D object. I'm going to make another circle as a child of the first circle. So I got circle with a circle. And the second circle, I'm going to shrink just a little bit. So we'll put that at like 0.9, I think. Yeah, there we go. We'll do point. Yeah. We're arting up in here. And we'll do a slightly brighter. There we go. So that's one circle with another circle inside of it. We faked everyone out. It looks like money now. Pretend it looks like money now. So I'll go ahead and name him. All right. And then I'm going to write, guess what? Another script. So down in my scripts folder, again, I'm going to right click, create mono behavior script. I'm going to call it pickup. All right. I'm going to get rid of all of this. And all I'm going to do, and if you've installed the right modules inside Visual Studio, then it knows to do some IntelliSense and start picking up some, start auto-filling some stuff. So I'm going to do an on trigger. Enter 2D. Never say that to me, ever. How dare you? All right. And so by default, because it already knew, like Visual Studio knows some Unity stuff, it filled in the rest of this. So it's private, void, doesn't have to be private, whatever. On trigger, enter 2D. And then we're passing in the collider 2D of the collision. What I like to do is instead of collision, I'll call this other. So we got hit by who? Who hit me? Other, right? This is how we're going to get the insurance of the car that hit us. Other. All right, so we got hit. Who was it? So I'm going to do an if statement in here. And it's going to try to help me out sometimes. That's okay. Other game object tag. If that's equal to player, then I'm going to do a thing. So again, other it's the insurance of the guy who just hit me. So it was a collider called other. So I'm going to get that collider. I'm going to get the game object that it's on, and then I'm going to find its tag. And if that tag is player, then I'm going to do something. Okay, this is on the coin. The player just ran into me. Here's my kamikaze script. Now, by default, it wants us to destroy the player. The coin's like, to heck with you, I'm going to wipe you out. No. So instead, I'm just going to take off that other and destroy, and then brackets or parentheses game object. That's your stop existing script. This makes this script and everything that it's on go away. Yes, sir. This will go on the coin or the pizza.
Do you have to put it on the pizza?
No, and I'm going to go back and we're going to look at the circle in just a minute. All right, so All I've got in here is this on trigger enter. Who just hit me? Is that guy calling himself a player? Leave. Destroy myself. All right, so save. We're gonna go back to Unity. It's trying to compile this little bit of script we wrote. There we go. Okay, so I've got a coin. On this outer coin, not the circle inside, on the outer coin, I'm gonna add a circle collider 2D. And right now, if I just add a circle collider 2D, I'm just gonna run into it. It's not gonna do anything. So we got two different kinds of collisions. We've got it stopped me from moving into it, or I can check this button right here. It says is trigger, which means I could pass through it, but then I immediately get a callback. We trigger code. So, I turned is trigger on. Yeah. And that's going to call that on trigger enter that we just wrote. So now we can run into him, and we need to add that script to him. So again, I can do it in the inspector. I can say add component and then go find pickup, or I can just literally drag this guy over here, somewhere in there, drag the pickup script onto it that way. I could drag it onto it here. There's lots of ways to do it. This is more like deliberate, I guess. So I'll usually just use add component. But if you want to drag and drop things, most of the time it'll work. Okay. One more thing we need to do for this to work. Coin is looking for someone to run into him. And he's expecting that someone to be player. So I'm going to take Mr. Hexagon Point Top, or whatever the heck you called the guy. No, not rename. This right underneath the name of it, tag. So I'm going to change it to player. These are stuff we get right out of the box. We can make 1,000 other tags. Player's one we get for free. So I'm just going to, this guy is going to be named player. And it should be that this coin deletes itself when I run into it. It went away. We're going to pretend it went in my pocket. Now, did you notice that it didn't look as cool for a minute there? All right, let's talk about layering. So my coin, my outer circle here, everything is on 0 for order and layer by default. And so all I need to do is take this circle that I want to be in front of it and give it a higher than 0 number. And that could go in any direction. If I wanted to like move something behind it, I could go all the way back to like a -1,000,000 or what, who knows, right? Any number that I want to put, it's going to render in that order, highest on top, down to a lower number. Yeah. Much easier. Okay, so we've got this guy. Before we're done with this level, we can add in other walls and things. Maybe I've got to go through a maze to get to this, but we're trying to keep this short. Too late. What if I want more than one coin? Do I want to go through all that again to set up another coin? Heck no. Check this out. So I'm going to go to Assets. I'm going to make another folder. Create folder. I'm going to use the underscore again. And I'm going to call this prefabs. Look at all this. This is all just regular, plain, boring white text. But I'm going to drag this coin guy with all the stuff on him down into this prefabs folder. And he gets a cool new icon. He changes to blue, which means I can just put as many coins out here as I want. And they've all got the right colliders. They've all got the right script. Everything's good to go. I'm about to be Uncle Scrooge from DuckTales up in here. I'm diving into this pile of money. I'm still going too fast. Come on. And scene. All right. Before we go to the next thing, you know what? That player kind of worked, so I'm going to go do the same thing with him. I'm going to drag him down into prefabs. Now I've got a working Mr. Hexagon pointy top. Any other time I want to do another level. I could also don't do this, but you could do this. You could. Two players, one controller. I don't know. Yeah. But that's the beauty of prefabs. I want another one, I can have it. All right. Real quick. None of that does any good if I didn't save it. Control S, save the level. All right, I'm going to go back to that sample scene because I like to have something blank to start from. We're going to do it again, ish, a little bit different. Okay. Now I'm going to go faster through this. Most of this is the same. I'm going to call out the differences. All right. Ray, you got this. Okay. Robert looks lost. I feel bad. Okay.
Some of this makes sense to me. The coding is a little weird.
That's why I'm handing the code as much as I can. All right. So same thing. I'm going to go from my sample scene. I'm going to save it again. So save as. And so this will be side scroll level. And my initials. And I'm going to make sure it's in the scenes folder. And now I've got that. All right. Now I'm going to set up my level. Yeah, this is a whole different level. Yeah. Yeah, we can copy them. So we can literally copy them. We can make them prefabs and then bring them in. Actually, fair point. So I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna control this, save this level. And I went ahead and made the top and the bottom, but I want to copy and paste the side walls. I can do that. I'm gonna grab that. Shift, click that. I've got both walls. Copy, paste. So Control C. Go back to this level, Control V. Yeah. So you can copy and paste between pretty easily. I'm going to leave these. These guys that I copied in have Box Collider 2Ds on them. I'm going to do that for these guys too. Top and bottom. Huh? Yeah, they carried their stuff with them. I've seen a few times where if you had a really, really complex thing, not everything made it over. So I'm not going to 100% guarantee it, but it should work that way. Okay, so I want to make this guy. They've got box sliders now. They'll be a pretty green. And then just for giggles, I'm going to bring out another box that we could jump up onto. So another square. Move this over here. I'm going to scale them. I'm going to do box collider on him. Pick a rando color. And then I'm going to Control D to make a duplicate. Move him up. All right. And I'm going to try to get up here to get a coin. So in here, we're going to have gravity. Save this guy. Let me, because you need to do this anyway, so I'm going to go to my... Everyone made some kind of sprite when we did the Photoshop thing. They smiled, they laughed, they jumped. Some of them just looked absolutely wacky. Whatever that thing is, you can bring it in and we'll use it somewhere in this week's assignment. I'm going to go ahead and use him as a player, or maybe just I'll leave him in the side. So I've got slime. I've got 2 of them. Okay, I'm gonna drag in 2 slimes here. Go to assets. I'm gonna make a note. Yeah, just the PNG, not the GIF. Yeah. So I'm gonna do I don't know, images, sprites, something. Make a folder. So I'm dragging not that guy. I'm gonna drag these 2 sprite sheets that I've got in. And so these are extensions of what y'all did. And I'm going to try this, drag this in here. It wants to make a new animation. I'm going to say let it. Guys, this used to be so much harder. Unity's doing so much work for me now. So I've not put a script on him, but if I hit play, I feel just like do his bobbing right here in the level. This is a new level. I made a new scene. So I went back to sample scene, copied it again by giving it a new name, and now I'm doing something else. Yeah, so I'll show you. So I drug the whole sprite sheet in. I've got another one so I can do it again. And then it said, you want me to make a new animation out of that? And I said, yeah. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So new animation, red. Why not? Okay, so now we've got a red guy, and he's just going to hang out here. I'll scale him up. So he's just going to be an NPC hanging in the corner. We've talked about NPCs. Be nice to him. All right. It just works. So you can use that guy, like literally, if you want to put your sprite in the background, there's just somebody cheering you on, that's fine. I'm going to try to use him as my character. Since he's already doing a jumping animation anyway. So I'm going to scale this guy up a little bit. And we're going to add a different script to him. Okay, so I've scaled him up to 2. I'm going to close all this other jazz down. And almost the same setup we did before. I'm going to add a polygon collider around him. And you can see it kind of like tries to stitch something around him for collision. And I'll add the rigid body. But this time I'm going to leave the gravity at 1. Right? So with no controls on him, if I hit play, I should see him fall down at least. He's just chilling. He's vibing. All right. So gravity works. And the collision. So we're going to make one more script to put on this guy. So create mono behavior script, side scroll, I don't know, I'm going to name it side scroll slime. Name it whatever, almost doesn't matter. All right. It's compiling my empty script. Now I'm going to name some stuff and then we're going to get into it. So this guy is my player. So I'm going to call him slime player. And I'm going to call this guy Slimy Boy NPC. He's just chilling. And then I can make prefabs of them now and then just update the prefab later. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take my slime player, drag him down here. My NPC, drag him down here. Now I'm going to change some stuff on my slime player. Before I even write the script, I'm going to add it to him. So I've got side scroll slime. I'm going to add that to him. This one's a little weird. I added something to him after I made him a prefab. So down here, I'm just going to hit this overrides and say, hey, apply that. Save that to all my prefabs. So now what I did is saved. All right, let's actually work on the script. All right. This is a kind of a lot, so I'm just going to grab it all and paste it in, and we'll walk through it. Great question. We're going to get there. All right. So I'm just going to copy the inside of that, not the outer bracket, not the outer bracket. I'm just copying the stuff from the inside. I'll go into this. There's my side scroll slime. Cut that out, paste this new stuff in. Guys, this is not the best way. This is the quickest way in the less amount of code as I can give to an intro class today. There's other ways to do things, but we get the same thing we did before. We've got a move speed that we can change later. I now have something called jump force that we can change later. I need to get a hold of the rigid body that we put on him so that I can add force to him. So instead of just like moving him up, we're actually going to add some accelerant to him. And then I've got a couple of Booleans, which are either true or false, for he's on the ground and he should jump. Okay? On start, happens one time before the first frame update. I'm just going to go, I've got my variable here for rigid body. I'm going to go get it. So I need a rigid body. I'm going to go find the rigid body that's on me and attach it to that pointer, basically. Saying this is my rigid body so that I can just go get it once and I've always got a handle on it. Now, to Sean's point, I've got update and I've got fixed update. In update, I'm going to do the same thing we did before, and I'm just going to get the horizontal input. And I'm just moving my guy on the horizontal input. So I took what we did before, but not the vertical. I'm just doing the horizontal. And then this bunch here, let me just, here, make this better. Oh, sorry, I should have done that before. My bad. This bit here, I'm looking for the input button that is jump, which might be A on my controller. It's the space bar. It's whatever else is automatically set up. And if my guy is on the ground and they just hit the button down, so get button down means the moment it clicks down, I get called once. If I change this to get button, every frame that I'm holding that down, this is happening. So get button down just happens once. You'll figure that out when things blow up in your face. So I just want it to happen once. Hey, the player hit jump. My guy's on the ground. So I'm just setting this Boolean to true for should jump. The difference here is in input, in update, where I'm getting my input that happens, who knows, because of the frame rate. That's where I want to get my input. Stuff that I'm doing with physics, I shouldn't really be doing in I don't know what your frame rate is, right? I don't want Sean's guy to jump slower than his just because, like, that's not fair, right? So I'm setting that Boolean once, should jump, and then in fixed update, which gets called at a constant rate. Then I'm saying, hey, did they tell us we should jump? Is that true? Okay, so then I quickly set that back to false because I don't want to double jump. And then that's when I'm doing the thing. I'm taking the rigid body on the guy. I'm adding force on his up axis times the jump force. Just boosting him real quick. Okay? And the other part that makes all of this work, and all I'm doing with all this is trying to avoid double, triple, quadruple Minecraft creative mode jumping. So I've got this on trigger enter, which is the same thing we did for our coin. And I'm going to put a trigger on the bottom at his feet. And so if it entered something, some other collider, then I'm going to say he's on the ground. Okay? And then the minute it leaves that collider, then I'm going to say he's not on the ground anymore. Is grounded false. Kind of simple. Again, there's 100 better ways to do it. This is the quickest way, and it explains some of the stuff that I want you to get really our first time digging into this. So I'm going to save this script, pop back to Unity, wait for it to compile. That's what this guy is. There we go. Okay, so Slimy Boy, Slime Player is here. He's got the script on him. He should be good to go. He's got his rigid body with gravity that we can add force to. He's got his collider around him to make sure we don't run into walls. But I also need one more collider on him. So I'm going to add another box collider 2D. This one I want to be a trigger. And you can move it in here if you want. I'm just going to use these type-ins. So I'm going to make this really small. So on the size of the box collider that's the trigger, I'm going to, I don't know, just set this to like 0.2 and 0.2. I'm just making it a lot smaller than it is. And then I'm going to, on the y-axis here, I'm sliding that down. Right? So he's just got a little sensor on his feet. Huh? Yeah, so this is the hitbox around him. This one is just the trigger underneath him to say, am I standing on the ground? Yeah. And so I moved that down some so you can see it's like kind of overlapping where his feet might be. And so I did that by changing the value of this y to like negative whatever, and it's down underneath him. And since it's tagged as is trigger, this collider is going to be what calls to these functions. Cool? It's okay if you just smile and nod and just believe me. It's fine. That's what's going to happen. All right, we hope. So he falls down. I can move left and right, and I can jump. That's a high jump. I might want to pull the jump force down. And I'm realizing I don't think I put colliders on these, so I probably am going to jump right. Oh, there's a collider on them. Okay. I did. So now I can jump up. Oh, I didn't fix his rotation. So watch. Run into stuff. Yeah. Okay. Now I've lost the ability to jump. And that's okay. Again, I gave you a very simple busted script just because it was the fastest, easiest thing we can do. I can come in here and I can just change his stuff. And I can say, I can click on the is grounded again, and then he should be able to jump again, and he's not. That's fantastic. As soon as I click off, he's saying he exited. There we go. All right. Just playing with the check boxes there. Okay. So in this level, I also need some coins. Luckily, I made those prefabs. So, boys getting paid to jump. It's kind of cool. It's like playing football or something. I don't know. All right. Save the level. All right, let me point a few things out. So this video, as well as previous versions from other years, will be online. I'll add this into the assignment as soon as I get it. It's done processing. This is due Monday. Like you could be done now, but you've got all the time in the world to make it stupid. He's still trying to open Unity. All right. Okay. Let's look at the rubric here. So I've got a side-scrolling scene. It's got proper physics, meaning that the player is the only thing with a rigid body on him and gravity. If I put gravity on everything, the whole level just falls away, and the camera's like, what are we doing? So we only want the the rigid body and gravity on the player, so that's the proper physics. Character moves left and right. Character jumps. Character only single jumps. We're not Minecraft creative mode. And in that scene, we have things to pick up. Or something disappears when the player runs into it. So that's like half the points there. Top-down scene we did. No gravity. Character moves left and right. Character moves up and down. Has pickups. Whatever your sprite was that we made is somewhere in one of the levels. Full points. Okay. Possibility of bonus points if you totally go completely bonkers and make really cool, interesting levels. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to point out is you can make a third level for an extra 10 points. And that's going to follow this. So this is a really short tutorial for another kind of movement. And so this is going to be mouse click movement. So this guy or whatever you've got, he's going to hang out. And if I click here, then he's going to move up there. So he's just going to move to wherever I click on the screen. And that might be more useful for whatever game idea you've got going on. So if that even sounds interesting, or you're just like 10 points extra sounds interesting, then follow this really quick tutorial and get extra points. All right. You cannot have any extra points. Since you asked, I'm taking away points in your other class. All right. For this is not just one scene like it was for Plinko. So you could go to your scenes folder and you could export that, right? So all the scenes, so export package based on the scenes folder, and it's going to grab all my scenes. It's going to grab all the scripts that are on the things, or all the scripts all together. It's going to grab my prefabs. It's going to grab my sprites, the animations. It's going to grab everything. So you could do it that way. Or you could try to like shift and like get both of those selected and just export that. So whatever you right click on when you say export package, that's what we're getting. Somehow I need both scenes in this package. The folder seems like an easy win. We should all have the same sample scene. It's amazing. Look at that. Yeah. And then if you've got the third level for the click to move, bonus points. Okay. Have fun with it. Hopefully this wasn't too scary. And the scripts they'll get more complex, but we're just going to get more comfortable with them as we move on. So part of the reason I do these assignments is so that you've got a handful of scripts going into your project. You want to reuse these scripts on your final? Great. Or you can write your own, or you can follow the tutorials, whatever. Does that make sense? Yeah. I guess we're done with the recording.